So the Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro line continues with Jonah Jameson. Hasbro is now releasing single releases for this retro Spider-Man wave, and I'm all for it because there's plenty of other characters that we need from this nice retro Spidey animated series look for Legends. So this time around we have Jonah Jameson. We all wanted a JJJ, and here he is finally in all its glory. Looks like we got the figure there, got some accessories, and then we got the same nice Spider-Man artwork for the card right there. On the back side of the card, we have a read-up in multiple languages. I'll read it out. It says, "Tough, gruff, and loud, Jonah Jameson is a force to be reckoned with in the boardroom and on the front pages of the Daily Bugle. As the newspaper's editor-in-chief, Jameson is a perennial thorn in the side of both Peter Parker and Spider-Man." Peter Parker! So essentially the literal fake news of the Spider-Man universe. We have Jonah Jameson dedicates himself to shaming Spider-Man, always writing false articles about Spider-Man and making him look out to be the enemy. He does come packed in like this. The accessories he does come with is a Daily Bugle newspaper sheet. We have an alternate hand with a pointing finger, which is pretty necessary for Jonah. And then we have a left hand with a grabbing pose. So we got a grabbing pose on the right hand, and now we got a left hand. So you can grab the Daily Bugle rolled up newspaper that came with the Gwen Stacy from the retro wave as well. So here's a closer look at the newspaper sheet. We have some nice detail and actual words here. It's not just scribbles. You can read it all. It's pretty nicely printed on there. We have Wilson Fisk, criminal past. We have Oscorp, not guilty of fraud. Daily Bugle, Spider-Sham. You can actually read it if you pause the video, so I won't waste time reading it. And then there is a back page to it. Right there we got Electro. You can pause it there. And then down here we get a little tease for Spider-Borg, which already pretty much came out. Some people have already reviewed it. And there it is. So yeah, this is actually a piece of paper. It's a hard piece of paper. It doesn't feel like a newspaper. It's not crumpled up like a newspaper. So it's not super authentic, but what more can you do with this scale for a newspaper? So I'll take it. I like that it's actually paper. Pretty cool little accessory there. Up next, we'll take a closer look at Jonah. There's his face sculpt. I believe this is the same exact head sculpt, face sculpt that we got on the previous Jonah release, which was a triple pack. Not really a triple pack. It was one figure, a suited figure, but it came with 3 different heads of 3 different characters, so you can make Jonah Jameson out of that if you wanted to. And it did have this exact same head sculpt from what I believe or from what I remember. I don't own that figure, but it may very well be the same. With that being said, though, I do wish he came with an alternate head. Of course, we need our traditional yelling head of Jonah Jameson, but normal head would have been nice. Something else would have been cool, too, since we've gotten this head sculpt before. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here's a close look at the tie. Nicely printed and painted, detailed there. Got the vest, brown, and then the undershirt is white. And down to the pants, which looks familiar, because I think that is the Stan Lee bottom torso, or lower torso I should say, for the legs. And then we got some different retooling here. Looks like this could have been the claw, the Ulysses claw arms right here with the rolled up sleeves. And there's the backside. And the good thing about Jonah is no matter how you pose him, it looks fine with the yelling head because he's always freaking yelling. So there it is with the Daily Bugle in his hand. It looks just fine. So we have the head on a ball jointed hinge, so it goes up and down, left and right. A little bit of a tilt here. Arms are going to go forward and back, in and out. We have bicep swivels, single jointed elbows with a swivel there at the elbow too. Swivel at the wrist with a regular hinge. That one has a regular hinge. We have a side hinge on the pointing finger hand. Ab crunch at the torso, swivel at the waist. The vest is removable technically if you really want to take it off. Let's just do that right now since we're articulating him. There you go. And you can have him without the vest. Legs are going to kick forward and back, in and out. We have thigh swivels, double jointed knees. We have an ankle hinge and a rocker at the foot. So here is going to be our main comparison because these two figures are about 90% identical. This is the Ulysses Claw figure from the Black Panther wave, and our new Jonah Jameson is utilizing the the whole figure pretty much here, except for the head sculpt, of course, and the vest. So we have the same shoes, same legs, same arms, not counting this one, of course. This one has a tattoo, but it's still the same arm with the sleeves and everything. We got different hands on J. Jonah, and of course the vest is different. Here we have a whole vest with a tie and shirt piece, but underneath this is the exact same mold as you see on J. Jonah right there. So if you were wondering, yes, you can swap heads between these two figures. So here's a quick head swap, and you can just see how much bigger J. Jonah's head is compared to Claw. Claw's head looks very tiny on this body. I don't know why, if it's the same body, but it does. And I actually seen a custom of, or not a custom, I guess a kit bash of this before. Somebody put this J. Jonah head, which of course came from the older pack. They painted the arms so the tattoos were gone, and they made their own. And it looked great, so they could easily re-release another J. Jonah with a different head sculpt and just use this body. It would look just fine. But those of you who still have this body, maybe you could, you know, take these arms off, and or the skin tone for arms down to the hand, and take those off and swap them between both, and you can have another J. Jonah if you wish. I think it'd be pretty simple to swap those. Next up, I have the Gwen Stacy from the Retro Wave as well, standing next to J. Jonah. Looks all good. And here we have him next to Peter Parker from the Retro Wave, and holy cow, he is like super tall next to J. Jonah Jameson here. Like ridiculously tall, I think, in my opinion. Isn't he supposed to be in high school? So kind of crazy how tall he is next to J. Jonah. It's kind of not even in scale. I don't know how to feel about this. You guys let me down below what's accurate. Is J. Jonah taller, or is Peter taller in this era of the Spider-Man universe? And lastly, I'll throw in the Retro Wave Spider-Man as well. Again, standing tall, just as tall as the Peter Parker figure. Very tall next to J. Jonah. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this review of the Retro Wave of Marvel Legends Spider-Man. We have J. Jonah Jameson. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not done so already. And as always, have a great day. Bye. Spider-Man!